Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to our very last Birding Bonanza Lunch and Learn series. We're really excited to have a great speaker here with us today talking about issues with cats. So I think it'll be a really great program and hopefully we'll all learn a lot. A couple of things just to remind you about some other upcoming things that we have going on. We are taking a break next week, so no Lunch and Learn next week. And then the following week, we will be starting our Nature Connections Lunch and Learn series, which will run through the end of May. And each week we're going to be exploring some different tools and programs that you can get involved with right in your backyard or with Bucks Audubon or in the community to help better understand the world. So some great citizen science type projects. So we're really excited about that series. It's coming together really, really well. I think people are going to like it. We've got birds and we've got frogs and we've got insects and we've got all kinds of really great things that we're going to learn about. The very first one on the 24th is all about different tools for citizen science, as well as, there's my dog right there, right on cue, tools, online tools to help you identify things and record what you're finding so that scientists can see what's out there. So some really, really great stuff. So hopefully everyone will tune in for that starting on March 24th. Alrighty. And of course, the weather is beautiful. So definitely make sure that if you have an opportunity, come on out. The snow has mostly melted. A few spots are still there, but most of it has melted. So the trails are open. It's been beautiful. One of my favorite things, the red-winged blackbirds are back and they're all over the place right now, which is always fun to watch and always a great sign of spring for me. So hopefully everyone can come out and enjoy the property. Thank you again to those of you who made a donation when you registered for this program. And if you do want to come to the one starting on the 24th, you will need to re-register for that series as well, because it'll be a different link. Alrighty, I think those are all of my notes. We have a great speaker today. Crystal is a former board member from Bucks Audubon, and we absolutely adore her. She's an active member of our advocacy committee. And if you receive our 5 and 5 newsletter every week about advocacy things, Crystal puts that together for us. So if you don't receive it, I highly recommend you can go onto our website and there's a place where you can sign up for it there. It's a really, really great, quick, easy, fun, not always fun, but it's often fun things that you can do to feel like you're really sort of making a difference for birds and wildlife. So I think that is everything. So I'm going to turn it over to Crystal. Thank you so much, Crystal.
Oh, sure. Thanks. Hi, everybody. I'm just sharing my screen here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting used to the controls. All right. So can everyone see this with the windows? Okay. So Stacy sort of gave a great introduction about me, but I figured I'd include it as well just to show you some of my credentials so I know what I'm talking about. I have a Master's of Science in Animals and Public Policy from the Tufts Veterinary School. As Stacy said, was a past board member, and I also put out the 5 and 5 advocacy emails for the advocacy group for Bucks Audubon. And when I'm not staying at home with my kids doing virtual school, one other thing that I do is that I'm on the board of directors for Chimp Haven, which is a national chimpanzee sanctuary. And that's been a lot of fun. It's based in Louisiana. And I haven't been there in a while, but it's nice to be connected. And so today I'm going to be talking about cats and their relationship to birds. And I know that some previous talks have discussed the many threats to birds, especially climate change and whatnot. But I just figured it would be good to start out by sharing some studies that show why we're so concerned about birds. A study published in Science in 2019, which was a 48-year review, showed that there's been a loss of around 3.2 billion birds in North America, which is 29% of the populations that existed in 1970. This chart shows some of the birds that are affected by that. And I just want to also read something. I promise I won't read a whole lot through the talk, but I found that this was a pretty compelling argument that they made in this science article. They said steep declines in North American bird populations parallel patterns of avian declines emerging globally. In particular, depletion of native grassland bird populations in North America, driven by habitat loss and more toxic pesticide use in both breeding and wintering areas, mirrors loss of farmland birds throughout Europe and elsewhere. And there are even declines among introduced species, which match similar declines with these same species' native ranges. Agricultural intensification and urbanization have also been linked to declines in insect diversity and biomass, with cascading impacts on birds and other consumers. So birds are important because they're one of the best monitored animal groups that we have, and they may also foreshadow a much larger problem, indicating similar or greater losses in other taxonomic groups. So this shows why birds are not only important themselves, but also that they're kind of like an indicator species for what might happen to others. So the main threats to birds, as described in this article, are the primary one is habitat loss, also agricultural intensification, coastal disturbance, and then human-caused factors such as what I'm talking about today, cat predation, collisions with automobiles or buildings, and power line and wind turbines either being electrocuted or colliding with them. And of course, all of these factors are even worsened by the effects of climate change. Specifically, threats to birds, as described in this 2013 study, which was studying the impact of free-ranging cats on wildlife. So the estimates of cat predation on birds and mammals are described here. In the first chart, you see that the median is about 2.4 billion birds per year being killed by cats. And that number, 69% of those are unowned cats. And that's where this issue sort of splits into owned cats, like pet cats who we have at home, and then feral cats or cat colonies or stray cats who we don't manage personally. And the study also evaluated their effects on mammals and found that 12.3 billion mammals are killed each year by unowned cats. And this again was in 2013. This also kind of just is another schematic to show you how far-reaching the cat problem is compared to all of the other factors that I mentioned, where cats are killing an estimated 2.4 billion with a B. And then you can see how the others fall under that, with buildings being 599 million and automobiles 200 million and all the way down. It's been known for a long time, obviously, that domestic cats do have an impact on birds. This is a 1916 publication, which I haven't read, but I found the title of it pretty telling. The Domestic Cat, Bird Killer, Mouser, and Destroyer of Wildlife, Means of Utilizing and Controlling It. I can only imagine what it discusses, and I kind of want to get a copy of this, but I just wanted to point out that this has been kind of something that people have known for a long time. So the threats to birds, the primary management approach to reducing predation by cats is to prevent or limit their outdoor access. Really, my main goal of doing this talk is to convince anyone who might not agree that pet cats really do belong indoors. They can have a great impact on animals outdoors, and as you will see, there are other problems that they can encounter. And so I just wanted to, make sure that I drive that message home. But nonetheless, tens of millions of pet cats remain outdoors in the U.S., largely as a result of ineffective programs to license pet cats, or just people allowing them to go out and roam and return home. So pet cats, keeping them indoors, this is really like a personal choice. But if you look at the other factors that I just described, many of those are hard for us, I feel, to have like a direct connection to. Like, I don't know that I can go out one day and make climate change go away, or, reduce automobile collisions with birds, but I can choose to keep my 2 cats inside. And that's something that is kind of a simple thing to do, but a lot of people are opposed to doing that. They feel that cats instinctively need to be outside, and they'll only be happy if they have access to the indoor-outdoor situation. But as you will see in further slides, there are benefits to cats for staying indoors, certainly benefits to birds and other wildlife. Scientists really consider cats to be non-native or invasive predators that have been introduced by people. So if you look at it that way, cats really, truly don't belong outdoors. Cats, when they're outdoors, will also hunt by instinct. They're not doing it necessarily because they need to be fed. And one study showed that unowned cats, that's not pet cats, they can individually kill approximately 30 to 48 birds per year. And they estimate that it's lower for pet cats who are allowed outdoors. An outdoor cat is any cat who spends any time outdoors, because even if a cat is out for 10 minutes, they could probably find a bird or another animal. They can spread disease to wildlife and to each other if they get into a fight. They can spread zoonotic diseases to people, so they could bring back something to your house, which you certainly don't want. Outdoor cats could also require more vaccines than indoor cats, because they're exposed to more animals or sources of those diseases, and treatment for injuries that they might encounter could cost quite a lot of money. And outdoor cats who are not spayed or neutered obviously will reproduce, and that's something that's not desirable. Outdoor cats also can suffer a reduced lifespan from being outdoors. They can be exposed to injury, suffering, and death. And the source of this information is from the American Veterinary Medical Association. They can be hit by cars, they could be attacked or preyed upon. They could be captured and not know where they belong and end up being euthanized. In rare instances, they could become victims of human cruelty. It definitely happens. They could become poisoned or trapped, and certainly they would be exposed to weather extremes. So none of these things, all of these things can be prevented, certainly by just keeping them inside. So how do organizations feel about pet cats? I looked at the American Veterinary Medical Association, which is the primary organization that guides veterinarians in our country. And they encourage veterinarians to educate their clients about the risks associated with keeping cats out or allowing cats to roam free outdoors. They believe that keeping owned cats confined can minimize their risk to the cat, to certainly wildlife, people, and the environment. And they're an organization that is pretty conservative. So I was surprised to find this and relieved to see that they, see it as not only an issue of protecting the cats, but also wildlife as well. I looked at the American Bird Conservancy, their policy on cats. And they call for all cats to be kept indoors and under close supervision, or advocate for the humane removal of all free-roaming cats. That's kind of where the issue becomes dicey, is when it's when you're talking about cats who aren't pets. Some people or organizations feel that they should be removed by any means necessary, whether that means they end up having to be euthanized, put in a sanctuary, or placed somewhere. This organization also opposes any human behavior allowing cats to roam free. So even though they're not saying, like euthanize all feral cats, they definitely have a strong position on not allowing any cats to roam free. They support programs to spay and neuter cats, and they promote educating the public about the dangers of free roaming cats. They also want to ban and, like I said, eliminate free roaming cat colonies through humane capture. And this is something that I saw suggested by a lot of organizations, which is requiring cats to be licensed and not allowed to roam free, similar to how we treat dogs, which at first seemed a little peculiar to me, but I can certainly see what they're saying. And if it would help to, keep people from allowing their cats to roam free, it certainly makes sense. So these are some unique ideas that companies have come up with for cats who they feel should still be allowed to be outdoors, but they want to somehow prevent them from preying on birds, is these cat bibs or cat collars. Certainly nobody's evaluated whether or not they're effective, but I just wanted to point out that there are people who are, trying to find other ways of allowing cats to be outside. Others also say they could wear a bell on their collar, but again, no one has really evaluated whether or not these are effective in alerting the birds that they might become prey. Another interesting campaign that some organizations in Oregon have is Keep Cats Safe at Home. And it's a joint project between the Feral Cat Coalition of Oregon, Portland Audubon Society, and then also their local municipal shelters. And they basically have been promoting in Portland and the surrounding areas the idea of keeping cats safe at home. And they each year, like we have our farm tour, they have a catio tour where people can tour homes and see catios that people have built to allow their cats to have space outdoors where they're experiencing the excitement of being outdoors, but really they're confined. Last year they did a virtual tour, so if that's something you're interested in looking at, you can certainly find a lot of styles online. And then lastly, I just have two quick videos that I thought were kind of interesting. This one is slightly goofy, but it's a PSA about keeping cats indoors. And then the following one is a video that demonstrates predation by cats versus wild animals and how they're different and what the numbers mean and how they're calculated. So first I'll play this one, and then I'll follow it with the more scientific style one.
My little girl loves to play outdoors. It's just too hard to keep her inside. I really don't have enough time to play with her, and she cries if I don't let her out. She does bring home some disgusting things. I don't know what she gets up to while she's gone, but she always comes back.
You wouldn't treat your child this way. Why is it okay for your cat? Please, be responsible. Keep your cat indoors.
Okay, and then could everyone hear that okay?
Yep, I can hear it great.
Okay, I meant to ask as I started it, but okay. And here's the following one, and then we'll have time for time for discussion. Okay.
More wildlife than the equivalent wild. Today we publish new research showing that pet cats kill 2 to 10 times more wildlife than the equivalent wild predator. Here we're going to show you how we figured this out and what it means for conservation. A few years ago, researchers estimated that cats in North America kill 10 billion birds and mammals each year. Now that's a really terrifying number, but the more we thought about it, the more we kind of wondered, well, so what? We wanted to know, do pet cats and wild predators have the same ecological impact on prey populations?
To compare the impact of pet cats with their wild equivalents, we needed 2 types of data. How much prey does a cat kill? And what's the range over which it hunts?
We wanted to get a global perspective on this, so we teamed with scientists to distribute GPS tracking devices all around the world, making this one of the largest tracking studies ever. In total, we were able to track 925 cats across 6 countries.
The GPS tracks we collected show pet cats are normally hanging around their home and yard and sometimes going into the neighborhood. Younger cats and those living in rural areas had slightly larger home ranges. But on average, pet cats across the world had very small home ranges of 3.6 hectares, usually sticking to within 100 meters of their house.
Reports on how much prey cats brought home varied quite a bit. Some real active hunters brought home on average 11.6 prey per month, while other, more lackadaisical cats were more around 4.25 prey per month.
Of course, we know cats don't bring home everything they kill. Those numbers have an adjustment factor that accounts for prey left behind or consumed.
Next, we need the same information on a wild predator. We found a great study on the jungle cat, which is about the same size as pet cats. That research estimated that they eat 390 mice per month. However, these jungle cats capture these prey items by hunting over a range of 605 hectares, 200 times the size of the hunting territory of the pet cats we tracked.
So we estimated jungle cats kill 0.6 prey per hectare per month. Based on the data we collected on pet cats across the world, we estimate that a lazy hunter would kill 1.2 prey animals per hectare per month, while an active hunter would kill 3.2. This means that pets can have an ecological impact on their prey between 2 and 5 times that of a wild predator.
But that's not the end of the story, because pet cats live at twice the maximum density we would expect for any wild predator. And that's going to amplify the ecological impact so that the total impact is 4 to 10 times what we would expect for any wild predator. Our research shows that pet cats can have an extraordinarily large impact on prey populations, but that this is mostly localized near their houses. The easiest thing we can do to counteract this and help protect wildlife is to keep our cats indoors.
If you want to learn more about our study and see some of the GPS tracks from our past participants, check out cattracker.org.
Okay, so that's it for me. I don't know if there are questions or if you want to any discussion.
You're welcome to unmute yourself. We're a small group today, so you're welcome to unmute yourself if you have questions for Crystal, or you can type them in the chat as well. Thank you, Crystal. This was really great. Disturbing, but great. Now, you talked a lot about pet cats. It seems like so much of a lot of the issue from a lot of your earlier numbers are really about sort of the sort of unclaimed feral cats. What are there programs out there that are able to do anything for those kind of species, those animals as well?
Well, I guess there just seems to be 2 trains of thought, really, that either they can be like the Portland Audubon, it was described that they kind of broke ranks with other bird groups by supporting a trap neuter release program for feral cats, but other organizations really see it as that they just can't exist. Or if they exist, it has to be in an area, with very little wildlife population. So I don't know of a specific example of one, locally or something, but that really it just seems to be like what people are willing to accept as being okay. Because certainly, even if you're trapping, neutering, and releasing cats, they're still going to be there and doing their thing. And so that's really the controversial subject. Should they all be completely removed and eliminated, or allowed to be? And that's certainly a very localized, decision.
Yeah, I'm sure that one that has many different thoughts and very passionate thoughts both ways.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I love my cat a great deal. He doesn't seem to remember as he tries to sneak out the door every day that he's not allowed to go outside.
Yeah.
But he seems to really want to, but he just doesn't. We don't let him do that.
Yeah.
So
I have a question about barn cats. I know a lot of people have what they call barn cats to take care of the vermin around their barns, take care of the mice and whatever else might be trying to get into their grain and so forth. So that's tough, because you certainly don't want people putting poison out for the animals that they want to keep away, the rodenticides, because then that affects birds negatively. So it's kind of a conundrum as to what to do in that situation. Is there any recommendations from any of the organizations about how to manage, barn vermin?
Yeah, that actually didn't come up too much, but one thing that I did see that I thought was interesting was that they said that when you're feeding the barn cats, you're actually putting out a food source for rodents. You know what I mean? So it's sort of a catch-22, because cats in barns still have to be fed like regular cats. They're not just living off of the animals they kill. Many times I think they don't even eat the animals they kill. So honestly, I didn't really see much mention of barn cats, although I know that's a very popular trend in this area. And I know a lot of animal rescues sort of have the situation where they have a lot of cats who need that kind of living arrangement because they can't live indoors for whatever reason.
Yeah, and the Bucks County SPCA periodically does a barn cat drive or whatever for people that need barn cats to come and get them from the shelter. And it's like, it just makes me cringe.
Yeah.
What about the birds?
Yeah.
But
they're not going to be trained specifically to just kill rats. They're going to get whoever they can.
No, they're hunters. They hunt what they hunt.
Yeah. Does anyone have a strong feeling that pet cats really should be allowed to be outdoors, or anything like that? Well, that's good. But I wouldn't be upset if you disagreed.
I love the idea of the catios, the sort of outdoor spaces that people create for their cats, so that their cats can go outside in sort of a safe way that's safe for them and safe for the birds. And
they've been very creative with doing their tours and promoting it. I'm sure if you searched online, there's probably 10 dozen designs of catios that you could build yourself.
Maybe that's a new project for my husband.
Yeah.
All righty. Does anyone else have any other questions for Crystal? All righty. Wonderful. I did put a couple of links in the chat in case anyone didn't see them. As I mentioned at the beginning, we do a 5 and 5 newsletter every week that Crystal puts together for us through our advocacy work. It's really great. I put the link in here so that you can subscribe to that if you are interested. It's a lot of fun. And I also put the links to the Nature Connections Lunch and Learn that we'll be starting on the 24th. Again, we will not be doing a lunch and learn next Wednesday. We're taking a week off, and then our new series will begin on March 24th with a look at sort of exploring nature with fun technology that you can find on your phone. So it should be lots of fun. So hopefully we will see you all then. I hope everyone has a couple of lovely days enjoying the beautiful weather and get outside, connect with nature, and hopefully we'll see you all at Audubon soon. Alrighty, thank you all very, very much. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us today, and we will see everybody soon.
Bye. Thank you.